Good morning, everybody. It is Wanda here this morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome to this morning's and today's tarot. Welcome, everybody from everywhere in Australia, no matter what time zone, Bali, Europe, South America, all over the world. Welcome. How are you today? If you're hopping on, good morning, Trish, Shirley, welcome. Sylvia, Elizabeth, Tracy, Dale, hey man, how are you? Rosemary, Karen, Sylvie, Valentino, how are you all this morning? Or this afternoon, or this evening? How's things going? Comment in the comments box where you're from and tell me right at the precipice of this Easter coming up, what is your greatest fear? Now, I know on a holiday you don't want to think about that, but our greatest fears are something that we tend to ignore. And I just recently listened to a video on YouTube from Brené Brown, who is a researcher, and she was talking about the art of vulnerability. And it really hit home for me because we are so scared of being isolated. We are so scared of being separate. We are so scared of being shamed. We are so scared of people making judgments about ourselves and regarding our situation. And you know, we avoid becoming vulnerable because we always have to feel like we're on top of it, or that we are answering, you know, the expectations of everybody. Good morning, Lorraine. Good morning, Jennifer. Good morning, Michelle. Welcome, guys. Eve, hello, darling. Serena, love you. Okay, so I'm talking about vulnerability because I've been in that space for the last few weeks, as some of you already know, and we all know that. We feel it when we're little, and as we get older, it doesn't get any better. It just feels bigger. And this is what I want to talk about, because what I'm asking you to do, and what I'm suggesting is, and from my own learnings, I'm not sort of saying something to you, go do it, and I haven't experienced it, but we run away from being vulnerable and we get ourselves into a numb headspace and we forget about it because we've got to feel safe. And, you know, being vulnerable is our greatest growth, you know. And it can be the littlest feeling of being vulnerable to like full-blown, you know, nudity exposure. It feels like that. It's if someone's caught you red-handed with no clothes on. And what is everyone going to think of your body, and all those kind of thoughts that we have? And here's my suggestion that I'm going to say to you, that step into your vulnerability. Because if you are not doing that, you are living a life of numbness, putting things under the carpet. I'm not going to deal with that. Shoving things into a corner, shoving your feelings and your values into a corner. If you don't stand and just face it, whatever it is you need to face. And most of us, that greatest fear in vulnerability is the feeling of separateness, that we are separate. And the funny thing is, you are already separate. If you are already separate, that's why you have to numb yourself out. So you are imagining that you're not, but you actually are. Because if you can't, that takes like a little step into leaning into that vulnerability, leaning into fear, leaning into, I don't know what's going to happen if I bungee jump. You know, will I die? Well, you know what? You might die. You might die a spiritual death. because there's growth inside that. And in the research, what they've done with Brene Brown, it's really worth having a look at that video, okay, on YouTube. If you want If you want to know more about that, then PM me and I'll send you the link. Or what I might do is I might even put it up in the link, because I forgot to do that this morning. So whatever's going on with you for this Easter, and you know that I've been talking about the new moon, not the new moon, the full moon, and the full moon in Libra that has got its emphasis on relationships and the big download coming from the cosmos and your participation in it, because you're going to be triggered this weekend. And when you are triggered, what are you going to do in that trigger? You can stop. And in that stopness that you do, rather than blurting it out, I'm going to talk about this later on today, because I'm a real person. I don't have a filter, okay, which is really bad, but I'm going to talk about that later on, because we learned that from when we were younger, and we're only trying to protect ourselves. That's another story. But getting back to vulnerability, whatever it is that you're worried about, and with this full moon coming up, that's what you're going to be faced with. And be ready for that, because it can be a little bit or it can be a hell of a lot. And you have to go inside. Well, you don't have to go anywhere. You choose to embody vulnerability. Choose to embody it. Choose to be in that space of, holy shit, what's going to happen next? Because become it. Become the space of vulnerable. Because at the other end of it, at the other end is going to be joy, right? We live in a world of duality, you know, and we live our lives in the middle of the road, guys. We live our lives mediocre. And so to have an extraordinary life, to have peace, to have love in our life, we need to go to that side of being vulnerable, maybe looking for that job, maybe showing up in our business, or showing up inside a shop. I remember years ago when my mother left our family, and my father so could not pay the bills. He was really struggling. And he said to me, and I went over to him and I said, Dad, can I have some money to buy some shoes? Like, you know, my sports shoes had holes in them, you know, those old canvas shoes. Those of you who are my age probably remember those old sand shoes, we used to call them. And he said, Wanda, I don't have any money to give you. I've just got enough money to pay the mortgage. And I said, I said, what am I going to do then, Dad? You know, like, you know, and he said, you know what? He said, go and get yourself a job. And I said, am I allowed to get a job? He goes, go for it. I was really scared. Like, how do I do that? And Dad goes, you just go into the shop and you ask for the boss and you say, excuse me, hello, my name is Wanda. I'm looking for a job. I'm prepared to do anything. And I went, is that all I have to say? And Dad said, yep. Start from the top of the street and work all the way down to the other end. And there was about maybe 25 shops at the time. Okay, so I started at the chemist and I walked in and the lady at the thing said, can I help you? And I said, is the boss here? She goes, that's me. And I said, hi, my name's Wanda and I'm looking for a job and I'll do anything. And then she had a little giggle and she said, look, darling, thanks a lot. What's your name? I'll take your name down and I'll get back to you. And I went, oh, great, thank you. Anyway, after that shop, there was a florist shop and I went all the way down and I got a no, until I got to a delicatessen and I had about 10 no's. And I'm going, oh, shit, this isn't going to work. But I thought, oh, well, I'm just going to, you know, my dad said, don't worry about the no's, just keep going. And so I did. And so when I got to the delicatessen and I went in there and I was a little bit over it by then, like I was halfway through all the shops, and I went in there and I went, and by that moment, because I was a little bit over it, I wasn't so intense. I was I'd actually sort of like let it go a little bit in my mind, and I thought, I'm just going to get another no. So I went in there and I did the spiel. Hello, my name is Wanda. I'm looking for a job. I'm a hard worker. I'll do anything. Have you got a job for me? And the guy looked at me and he went, oh, so can you mop? And I said, no, but I'm willing to learn. He said, can you do the dishes? And I said, oh, yeah, I can do the dishes. He goes, see you Monday. You know, and in that space, I went, really? Like, oh, really? And he goes, yeah, what's your name and your phone number? I said, well, my name's Wanda Green and I don't have a phone. He goes, that's okay. Show up Monday, 4 o'clock, 4 till 6. That's it. I went, oh, okay. Now, I stayed in that job. I was 13 years old when that happened. And I stayed in that job in and out of my life until I was about 28 years old. That job lasted me a very long time, to a point where I was managing a delicatessen. So being in that vulnerable space, unless you step into it without any preconceived idea, then you're going to succeed, you see. Now, I'm sorry I'm bagging on a little bit this morning, but, you know, we always have these ideas about ourselves when we were younger and it's not going to work. But that was just an old idea of one experience that didn't happen. And so if you want to grow and you want to change, then you have to go into that space of vulnerability. That is where the love and the power is. That unknown space, and that's where the beauty is. So don't run away from your vulnerability. And I think I better get into the card, having spoken about that. If this resonates with you and you're still on and you're listening, let me know. When was it? Write it in the comments box. And this is why I always ask you to write things in the comments box, because it gives me an insight into what's going on out there in my Facebook family. That's number one. Number two, you share your feelings or your thoughts with people here on this feed, and other people respond. It's not just about you sitting at your desk or watching your phone. It's about your contribution. Even if, you know, I'm amazed at how many times other people reach out to each other on my feeds. And that's what it's all about. And what are you connecting to? You're being vulnerable by writing your little thing even in the comments box. You're being vulnerable, but you're also being open for someone to respond to you and go, I just love what you just said just then. Thank you so much. And brings in that gratitude, and you get that, you feel that love from that person you don't even know. But here's the funny secret. You may not know the person who wrote that message to you of thanks or love or gratitude, right? But remember, we are all one. We are all one. And so everybody is a different aspect of each other, of the whole. And that's what we don't get. You know, people tend to think all the time about what they think is the best, and they think is the best method. And if you're going through some shit right now, you know, and you're getting your mum and dad saying that, and people do-gooders going, you've got to do this, you've got to do that, and you're not sure, then be not sure. Allow yourself to be not sure and vulnerable. Allow yourself, because your inner guidance will show up when you allow it. And so you don't need to. You have to listen to your soul. Don't listen to everybody else, because you are not in that way everybody else. You have your divine signature, even though you are part of the whole, right? In your body, there's the liver, there's your heart, there's your spleen, there's your large intestine, small intestine. They're all our body organs, but they have a different function. And it's the same here. Everybody in the world, even though we are one system, we have a different function. We function differently. We operate differently. And that's beautiful. That's what we're here to do. We are here to create our heaven on earth. We are here to create our, and become who we actually are, and understand that. So if you want to fast track your life, step into vulnerability. Absolutely, that is where the power is. Okay, here I go. And I'm sorry if I've kept some of you with my going on and on and on. What is the card showing us for today? Here we are. Okay. Oh my gosh, I love this card. Okay. So it is the Justice card. Generally speaking, when the Justice card, it's a high arcana card, it's major. And so what that means is part of the first 22 cards based on the ancient Tarocchi, going right back to about the 11th, 12th century. It was the original game of Tarocchi, the game of life. And in this card, basically it's straightforward, means you've got legal papers coming up. So it could be paperwork to do with car, house, it could to do with bills, but it's more on a legal idea. Paperwork that you need for houses, for instance, divorce papers. Well, that won't be me, but divorce papers or something like that. That's coming at your doorstep. Right? You could be signing papers. It's a legal document. It could even have to do with jobs and that. On another level, this Justice card on an emotional level means, have you been showing justice to yourself? Have you been judging yourself? Okay, because the word justice comes from judgment, means the same. Have you been extraordinarily judging yourself and making yourself wrong and making you look terrible, making that which makes you feel terrible? Maybe have you been doing something wrong to somebody else? Maybe is there an issue there where there's a justice issue of fairness, of balance, right? Where are you not balanced in your life? Where are you not balanced in your business? What's going on? Is something not flowing? And so if you see the picture here, she's holding up the sword, and that sword is straight up in the sky, which means, are you aligned to everything in your life? Are you out of sync? Are you out of justice with yourself and the highest good of yourself? She's holding the scales up balanced. Where are you not balanced in your life? You know, this morning I was doing a few little journalings, and I come to understand when I had to write down, you know, what would make it a 10 for me in the area of romance. And I thought, shit, I don't actually, I was actually going, oh my God, I don't know anymore. I don't know where that is. And I'm going to write about that today sometime. I'm going to share that with you, because I don't know what romance, I know what it is and what the world tells us, but what is romance to ourselves? So I've got to go into a bit of a vulnerable space to sort that out, because that was greatly missing in my relationship, greatly missing. And why? What was it that I was not doing? Now, I'm not looking at it in a bad way. I'm looking at it as a very positive thing for personal exploration and understanding. So that is what it's all about. I don't want to be numbed. Do you want to be numbed out? I don't certainly want to be numbed out. All right, so who am I going to read for today? Rightio, let's have a look. Okay, Serena, if you're still on, darling, this card's for you. Okay, because I know that I've read for the few people above, so I had to go down the list with my eyeballs to make sure. So Serena, darling, this is for you. Appreciate all the work you do. You know what I'm talking about. Wow, Serena. This card is Archangel Michael, and it's the Archangel of guidance at this time. There's something very new coming up for you, and sorry, it's not Michael, it's Archangel Gabriel, and Archangel Gabriel is the messenger. There's something new coming in for you, and he is guiding you right now, because it looks like there's going to be another level of your soul path coming to you. That looks to me like also there's going to be a shift in your focus for something else that you're up leveling. So it could be something to do maybe with your business that's going to expand it, that you're going to be doing something greater, and that's coming in for you. There's going to be a renewed focus on something within the business that you do. And there's also the indicator, the message from Archangel Gabriel, because remember, Archangel Gabriel was the angel who came and spoke to Mary and said, you are going to have a baby. And she freaked out. So what it is that you're going to be moving house also. So that's coming up maybe in the next 4 months to 12 months. That's coming up for you. I hope that makes sense. If you're still on, let me know if that makes sense for you. And for all of us, that message is pertinent. It's not just for Serena, okay? There's all of us are being asked. There's going to be an up-leveling in your soul path. And so if you're going through shit right now, if you're going through some misery right now, if you're vulnerable right now, step right into it without having bungee jump off that cliff. Right, bungee jump, because there's good things coming, and the message is greatness. I hope that makes sense for all of you. Remember, no judgment on yourself. Just do the bloody thing and get it on. Get it on. Don't judge others either. Legal papers happening. Something new coming up regarding legal papers. That can have anything that's to do with legals. You know, our earthly law. Okay, and also what I was talking about, the sword and the balance there, balancing your life, balancing. Are you judging yourself? Are you judging others? Why are you doing that? What makes you think that your thoughts are better than someone else's? And I'm certainly, you know, wrong in that department in some areas. So there, guys, here we are. I hope that's been helpful today. Apologies for my blah, 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 blah. And I hope that's okay. I hope it's helpful. That's the most important thing. And don't forget to share your comments. Don't hide in the darkness and just watch me from afar. Share your thoughts, share your ideas, share your love, share your signature, share your divine signature with everybody here. On this feed every morning. Give love to the people who are here listening, because we all want to feel that connection. We all want to feel that love. And in the meantime, I'm so looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. What's tomorrow? Thursday. And I'm going to be heading off to my grandchildren. In the meantime, God bless you all, and I will talk to you later. Bye.